Yo everyone, it's GeoClement and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be playing some Pro World in No Move and try to give, some in-depth explanations of my guesses on every round to try and share some metas, of course. And yeah, we'll just start in this first seed. So now this is an interesting round because we have a lot to look at. So of course, it looks like pretty red soil, eucalyptus tree rows, huge fields, like omega huge fields. That's a pretty common thing in Brazil. Also the fact that here, as you see, we have the front of the car visible, and it is driving to the right. So that in mind, we're not going to be in Australia, not going to be in South Africa, so probably Brazil. And yeah, the fact that it's such huge fields and feels so dry, whatnots, and also we have bunch of jungle-ish forest kind of thing over there. Makes sense for Mato Grosso. Now we also have this white car with the antenna, like the golden antenna. Now that's a really good meta because it's only found in Mato Grosso, Rondônia, MGDS, mostly these three states, and a little bit in Goiás. If you watch my latest video with Eric Pierre in Brazil, you probably would know this because we've seen it a couple times, I think, and even got baited by it. So yeah, this should be somewhere in Mato Grosso, I imagine, with all this in mind. Now, is it Sinop or is it the cluster that's more like around here? That's kind of hard. Like, I'm not really that good at Brazil, to be honest. To me, it looked a bit weird because it's a bit rolling, but yeah, I don't know. I think I should probably go Sinop, to be honest, but we'll see. Nah, it was Eastern. I kind of had the vibe, but yeah, I would need to know my Mato Grosso a bit better for that. You also have antenna coverage in the far northeast, but that's usually more green. So this is more like the same kind of vibe in like the whole central eastern area of Mato Grosso, which is rather dry. It's some pretty dry coverage compared to the usual Mato Grosso kind of round. Yeah, this next round, is it? We have we have a few things already. We have these palms. They are called areca palms. Look kind of. Some people like to call them ugly palms, because they kind of look plastic. I don't know how to tell it, but they look a bit like plastic-like. And these palms are only found in Eastern Asia, as far as I'm aware, I think. But you mostly get them in like Bangladesh, in some parts of India, a lot in Indonesia, a lot in Malaysia, a bunch in southern Thailand, and even other places in Thailand, in Vietnam, and in Taiwan. I think that's the main places you'll get them. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I forgot about anything. Maybe Sri Lanka can have them. I'm actually not too sure, but yeah, trying to be exhaustive here. We do have a square pole, so that should lean us towards Thailand. And looking at the car, again, we see the front of the car kind of driving towards the left, so should be driving left country. Of course, that doesn't really help as Taiwan is the only driving right with Vietnam I mentioned, but yeah, otherwise the other countries with Arecas drive to the left. Now, yeah, we have a lot of do we have a lot of oil palm? We actually don't really have oil palm, it's about to say, but what is the car? It's just a white car, I think. It's white car 23, so that's kind of a pretty common car in Thailand, so that's also kind of useful because white car 23 is not that common at all in Indonesia actually, and it's not in Malaysia at all. It's not in Vietnam. Vietnam doesn't have 23. Taiwan, maybe you could get that. I'm not really sure, but honestly, going Taiwan on Thailand doesn't really happen too often. I feel like both countries look quite different, and you're driving to the right in Taiwan. Yeah, all of this in mind, I feel like southern Thailand is probably the best place to go with the amount of areca palms, even though I don't really see rubber trees or like oil palms or anything. So it could easily just be northern Thailand, to be honest. I'll have to maybe think a little bit about that. But I think these palms look maybe a bit more southern. Yeah, no, this is actually a bit difficult to tell what part of Thailand it is. Um, yeah, I would just with the amount of Americas, I probably would lean more south, but I could see it being like a bait. Yeah, like a bait Ratchaburi tag or something like wouldn't really surprise me. You could sometimes if you have architecture you can use that, but we don't really have it too much here. So yeah, let's just try guessing here. Yeah, it's Chantaburi. I mean that's kind of a difficult location with not really much to help. Okay, here we have the full pickup truck blur. So with that in mind, there's only a few countries that can have it, and the fact that we are we have these like American style wooden poles, I want to say, and this architecture and stuff. Of course, it looks quite Latin American, and it's probably gonna be Panama. We do have 26 copyright actually. That's quite common nowadays in Panama. So people might go Costa Rica often because of the copyright, but I do think this looks a bit more like Panama. Not really sure if I can like pinpoint to anything that would confirm, but this house feels a bit more Panama to me. It's like quite large with like a big garden and stuff. Not saying you can't have this in Costa Rica, but I'd say this is more representative of maybe the average house in Panama. And yeah, don't really have much else to say. Maybe could be David, could be more east. Yeah, it is more east. Okay. Okay, we have Shikam Courage here. And we do have Boxcar, which is pretty good car meta in India. Only found in like Bangalore, I think, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, UP, and like northern states like Haryana, Delhi, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Chandigarh, Himachal Pradesh. So it's a pretty good car. It's not found in Madhya, but it's found in most states around it. So that's a good thing to remember. Is this like corn? So we have like corn. We don't really have palms that much. We do have like the big concrete kind of fence. And it looks rather dry. All of this in mind, I would probably lean Rajasthan, to be honest. Also, the soil isn't exactly black or like dark, like you would expect in, dark gray or black, which is what you would expect in Maharashtra. So I probably would just go Rajasthan here. All of this in mind. Let's see. Yeah, it was Rajasthan, a bit more towards UP, but that does make sense. Okay, should be Colombia here. We do have the Colo cross, classic meta. Just a cross on the back of the signs. You get that all the time in Colombia if you are on a paid road. Now, for the region guess, what do we have? We actually have long insulators, which is usually something that's more common in the north of the country, but it's not 100% meta. And we also have a divided road. So I was considering this could be like this road, which I think is divided in some parts, as you can see. Kind of lines up well. And the big mountains east makes sense. And the long insulator. So I think this is probably a good guess. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, just knowing like where the divided roads are. It's a pretty easy thing to remember, I would say. Like in a country like Colombia, you don't really have that many divided roads. Much divided road on the whole stretch. And yeah. It's 22k seed almost. I mean, it's decent, but we did have a pretty difficult round there in the Thailand. Okay, we have some good signs here. Miri and Bintulu being pretty big cities in Malaysia, but we also have. Wait, I thought I saw a useful poll, but actually we don't really have any. I do think this poll is probably a Sarawak one, but it's not really easy to tell. So. Yeah, but like Miri and Bintulu being northern Sarawak cities, probably. I'm not really sure if we are on the actual main yellow road or we are on the white one. I would have said more the. It's actually quite hilly, so probably the yellow one then. Yeah, let's try the yellow one. Yeah, okay, it's a bit more north. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, probably it's just Mexico here. We have pretty big yucca trees. And yeah, have black car, black crackle car, which is nowadays, it used to be pretty localized, but it's quite a bit widespread in the more central parts of the country. Um, and yeah, this looks quite northern, I want to say. It almost looks a bit US, but with lots of yucca trees. So probably thinking Coahuila then. But not too sure about where exactly I would go, but yeah, probably somewhere Coahuila. Yeah, it is all the way. That's why it looks so US, but honestly, I'm not even mad because this is some new coverage I've never seen. It's October 25, so it's rather new. Um, yeah, super cool mountains there. Just, yeah, they remind me of things I've seen in the US, but it's just, I don't really think I've ever seen a road that's like so small and goes so deep in the hills that far north, but that's some really cool piece of coverage, to be honest. Uh, let's see. If you look at this, it's like the only road in the whole region, but there's a few here. Maybe we can look at this. That's also October, so that's also some newer stuff. But yeah, it's just very remote and yeah, it looks a bit like the US, I guess. Okay, is this Nigeria? That's what I was thinking. Let's see. Do we not have? Don't really see much here. Oh, maybe here then. Yeah, Kwara State, I think. Is that the name? Yeah, Kwara. Okay. But yeah, Ilorin's pretty big city, and usually, honestly, especially in moving, of course, but even in no move, like the best thing you're gonna get in Nigeria are these uh, these signs, which typically do tell you the state and the city. And otherwise, it's not really too easy to reach, I guess, urban Nigeria. Usually, I just like to think as the southeast being pretty rainforesty, and you have a lot of these African oil palm trees and all of that. Lagos is, of course, this area is also quite jungly, but you don't have as many palms. I want to say near Lagos, it's a bit more, yeah, it's less rainforesty, and also very deep red soil. I think usually in the southeast, while the west is more like this kind of color, more brown to gray or like pink color. So yeah, let's just guess Ilorin. Yeah, maybe we could see the water there. I'm not really sure. We have the square pole here again, so should be Thailand. Now we have an instant clue here. I'm gonna say it because it is an MPZ here that we can see it. We have two insulators instead of one. Two insulators is never gonna be south of Prachuap Kirikan, so not really gonna be a 50-50 here with the dryness, but there are quite a lot of rounds where this can come in handy, so that's why I think it's good to mention it. But yeah, this obviously looks quite dry, so wouldn't go south, and it just kind of looks like eastern, I want to say, with how forested it is and the fact we don't have any palms. I want to say when you don't really have any palms, I think usually that's just very good for like the eastern square of Thailand. And otherwise, I think that's gonna be more like north within the west, like Fitchit and stuff. But I think this is just more eastern looking, so let's see. Yeah, it was actually a bit more western well guessed, but that's still a fine guess. Okay, we probably have a rush around here. We have square poles, which are mostly found in Russia and the Baltic countries and Ukraine, within Europe and that region. um, yeah, does it look like Kemerovo? That's actually what I was considering because I think we have quite a lot of birches in the distance there, and it doesn't look exactly like winter. It looks a bit more later in the season, like late spring. And I think we have red car. So all these things considered, I think Kemerovo makes the most sense. Could be Krasnoyarsk, of course, but does look a bit open. Krasnoyarsk is of course quite urban, and when you are around Krasnoyarsk, it's usually quite hilly. I think it's probably more hilly than this. So yeah. Now could it still be like Kazan or something? Yeah, I want to say most definitely could still be. But I think I'd rather go. Yeah, okay. A lot of yapping. But yeah, we did manage in the end. Pretty nice seed there. Unfortunate for the Mexico, but I would have needed to have seen that road before, I think, to get it, because yeah, without having seen that coverage, it's difficult to commit that far north. This should be Kenya here. We have the new Kenya kind of coverage. I think this gray car is unique to Kenya, to be honest. It looks a bit like the Turkey car as well, but of course you're not going to go Turkey on this, I think. And yeah, it looks pretty dry. We have pretty red soil. Gonna go east of Nairobi somewhere, but not really sure about where exactly. Ooh, it's actually north of the mountains. Okay, it's pretty hard round. I think this is gonna be the last seed. By the way, I have a pretty exciting video coming up tomorrow, so I hope you'll be there to watch it. And yeah, it's gonna involve an expert on the country, and we are gonna be playing in person. So he's gonna sit next to me, and we'll be playing that country. So maybe try to guess what country it will be. But yeah, that's gonna be a fire video. I hope you'll like it very much. But in the meantime, continue playing this, and if you're enjoying the content, yeah, just feel free to like and subscribe. Of course, that's like the biggest support, and comments. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say. This round looks US. I do think maybe we have a triangular sign, you know, like the US kind of shape. But otherwise, I do think it just looks US, like the road with lots of tar in the middle and stuff. Feels quite US instead of Canada, but it does feel quite north. That's why I was pointing out the US-Canada 50-50. It feels quite north. Like probably Minnesota or Wyoming, what's it called? Wisconsin. If I had to say, what else could it be? We have Black Car 24. Maybe Minnesota makes sense with that. Don't exactly remember, but I do think we have some birch trees over there. It's like deep fall coverage. I mean, not deep, but quite fall coverage, I want to say. So yeah, trying Minnesota. I could see Wisconsin. Let's see. Yeah, it was quite far north in... Okay, interesting peninsula road there, but yeah, quite far north. That does make a lot of sense, to be honest. Looked really quite a lot like Canada. Okay, we have some cool metas here. We have like exposed pipes, which are pretty common in some parts of Russia, like in southern Russia in general, Krasnodar, but also all the way to Chechnya and stuff. You can get exposed pipes quite often. We do have a lot of red brick houses, so that does make sense for the idea of Krasnodar. I think we have B-type as well, and I expect some smudges. Yeah, we do have the spammed smudges with B-type. Feel free to, if you want to learn more about Russia and especially B-type. B-type is one of the most like technical kind of, I mean, how would you say? Like you have to know, you have to spend time learning these smudges and stuff. But if you do, then B-type antenna, short antenna, actually becomes probably the best antenna in Russia, because some people don't, like a lot of people don't really know the smudges too well, I want to say. And it's just a really nice region guess. Like if you also have a good idea of what the couple clusters look like, usually you'll probably get the right cluster and be much closer than your opponent. So learning B-type antenna, learning first where B-type is and then learning the smudges is very good. But of course I'm talking to more often intermediate to pretty, you know, to people who play the game quite a lot. I don't think you should learn smudges if you are just here like for fun, I guess, for a fun time. But yeah, smudges for B-type are very good, because here in the south you only get them in Krasnodar, this kind of smudge combination. You wouldn't get that in like Stavropol or more east, so that is kind of good. And yeah, it's quite, I think maybe these smudges are more localized within Krasnodar as well, but I don't really care too much about that, to be honest. We are in Mexico here. We have the white car with the antenna, the Latin American car, which is Mexico, Ecuador, Brazil. Mostly those three countries sometimes Colombia, but Colombia is mostly black car. Yeah, we have a square pole. Okay, was not expecting that. Yeah, we have square poles. Okay, we have the uneven pole top, which is supposedly state of Mexico. Now, in my last, Mexico video, we actually had that once, and I think I ended up gaslighting myself on guessing Mexico State, and it actually was Mexico State. So, yeah, I think we should just go there. We have a lot of white houses, I think, in the distance, which is a good meta for central Mexico in general. And yeah, I do think it looks like high altitude terrain kind of thing. So, does make sense. We do have a bunch of cacti though, but that can happen as well. Let's just try around north of CMX. Yeah, that works out well. I mean, it was Hidalgo, but that is completely fine. We're in the US, I think we have front plates, unless it's Ontario. Could actually be Ontario. Have light blue car 25 kind of thing. And okay. Not too sure about the poles here. Okay, we do have Ontario poles up. I mean, maybe they are more like Ontario kind of poles. I'm not really sure, but this is definitely an Ontario pole top. And yeah. Yeah, by the way, the country we're playing tomorrow also has these pole tops, but it's not, of course, as we just played Brazil, it's not Brazil, so try to guess which country it is based on that. It's a good clue, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, this is Ontario, but what about the region? Yes. The region, yes, is kinda tough here, I can't lie. I think the copyright is fake, because it says 25, but I think this car is 24, and it's found. So I think you probably have it near Toronto, but then if it's not near Toronto, I think you have it a lot west of Sudbury, like Sault Ste. Marie. You have it on Manitoulin Island as well as St. Joseph Island. So that's good to know sometimes. And you also have it more northeast, like near Quebec up here. Nah, there's not really much here. Okay. I mean, I think I'll just guess here and we'll see. Okay, it was more north. So was it the Fall Courage or was it just... Nah, it was just some summer stuff. Okay. I mean, that's fair. Does make sense for there as well, but a bit unfortunate. I like to try and guess Ontario, but yeah, sometimes it is a bit of... Or maybe... Oh, I did remember it wrong, I think. I think where I guessed would have been Fall Courage, actually. If we look at Manitoulin, I definitely know St. Joseph Island is Fall Courage, actually. Yeah, this is August. Okay. Yeah, okay. As you can see, there's a bit of a unique pavement. It looks more like Illinois, kind of sandy pavement thing. Salt and pepper pavement. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, I think we'll play last seed here. Hopefully, I've been able to share some interesting stuff. Okay, have some Latvian poles here with the hooks here. Classical Latvian pole. The 3 hooks, the A-frame wooden pole. We have pretty red soil and it's slightly hilly, so should be east then. More or less, could just be north, but let's see. Yeah, it was super east, okay. Could have committed a bit more. Here we have a North America round. Ooh. Okay, the checkerboard sign. Should be Canada. Now... Is it blue car? Not too sure, but I think it looks like the lakes, right? I think I'd just go here, but let's see. Yeah, okay. I'll just check the coverage. I'm a bit... Yeah, okay. It's 23, yeah. So we had a fake copyright situation. Of course, for someone like me who tried to learn copyrights and stuff, that's always a bit annoying, but yeah. That's why learning copyright is kind of... not something I can really recommend unless you want to really try and become, like a top player, I would say. But I still think if you want to grind, like really grind the game, then copyrights are probably a good thing, like worth investing in, because there's always more cases where it's useful than than gonna be baiting you, like definitely for sure. But yeah, it's gonna take a lot of brain power. That's what I want to say. Here we have white car. How do I know it's not silver car, for example? White car has A-type antenna, so the first ridge is to the right, but I mean, silver car is pretty rare anyway, so you shouldn't really think about it in most cases. But yeah, this is just south of Chelyabinsk probably. I think we have clusters of birches in the distance. It's just a very open round. It almost looks like Mongolia or something, but that does happen in like the more southern parts of Chelia, like east of Magnitogorsk kind of area. So let's try around here. Oh, it's just downtown Magnitogorsk actually. Interesting. But yeah, it does get rather open in southern Chelia, yeah. And very smooth red soil. And we have no supports. And maybe we do have mushrooms, like white mushrooms, that could be a Bahia pole. I do think it looks very Bahia anyways, so it's probably where I would go. But yeah, the smooth soil, I think southern Bahia has it quite a lot, this kind of smooth soil. So if I remember correctly, the teachings of Imre Pierre, I don't know, it looks weirdly open. That's why I'm a bit confused for the Bahia region yes here, but I do also think it kind of looks like Minas a bit, so let's try KTT and see. It was the other fault, Sergipe, but at least we get the state, I guess. Next round, probably Thailand, I'm assuming. Yeah, should be Thailand. We have white car driving to the left. What's the copyright? 23. Kind of the random Thailand coverage. Like white car 23 is everywhere, pretty much. What does this look like? Kind of difficult round, I would say. I wouldn't go north, I think. But other than that, it's quite difficult. I'd probably just go somewhere close to Bangkok. I could see a bit more north, but let's see. Yeah, it was more north. I thought it could have been like one of the park roads near Bangkok, but it was just the yellow road here, the 12. That makes sense. That's another 22k. I mean, yeah, a bit annoyed maybe that I didn't get 24k, but I mean, that's just sea dependent. I mean, we had a lot of Thailand. Thailand is quite a difficult country, especially for me. Like, there's so many rounds that are just kind of, you have to just vibe guess them because you don't really have pole metas that much in Thailand. But yeah, otherwise we had some good guesses overall, I think, today. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you soon for some rather interesting content, let's say. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.